Hello, my name is Kai Rajratnam, and I'm going to be walking through our Qualtrics survey for our replication of Santoro and Markus 2024 Is Mansplaining Gender the Effects of Unsolicited, Generic, and Prescriptive Advice on U.S. Women? So let's jump in. This is the starting page that the viewers will see, the participants. I'll show the mobile view here for us for reference. So this is the consent page, and they read through the procedures, the risks and discomforts, the possible benefits, the confidentiality portions, the participation, and any questions about the research and who to contact there. And so if participants consent, they can click yes. I'm at least 18 years old and consent to participate in this study. Let's move on. So this is where we jump into the scenario here. Our study is seeking to understand the effects of unsolicited, generic, and prescriptive advice. And so the participants will be assigned varying levels of advice, whether it's prescriptive or non-prescriptive, or our term for it is unresponsive or responsive. And so there's 4 conditions. And so this is the first page that they get. So it says, imagine you've been working at a job for 6 months and you feel it's going fairly well. However, one day your supervisor sits down with you and tells you that you are underperforming and that at this moment you're not on track to being promoted. Moving on, it says a few days later, after your evaluation, while at a local coffee shop, you run into Ryan. This is our first condition. We're going to vary what gender is giving the type of advice, and the options are Ryan and Sarah. So in this case, we've gotten Ryan. So the participant is talking with Ryan, and Ryan chimes in. Most of his advice feels kind of obvious and stuff that everyone knows about. This would be the unresponsive condition. The advice is unsolicited and obvious. Ryan emphasizes you really ought to have a discussion with your supervisor, get a clear picture about your supervisor's feedback. He continues, and once you have that, plan your next steps. And so Ryan continues to give this type of advice for the participant in the struggles in their career. This timing portion will not be shown to the participants. This is just for our own data. This question is mainly, we're not necessarily collecting data on this, but this question is mainly to get the participant in the right mind space, to get them immersed in this situation. It says, how would you feel after talking with Ryan? Please describe your feelings in some detail, at least 3 sentences. And so after the participants have gotten in the correct headspace, they can move on and answer some of our questions regarding their interaction. Let's go and continue without answering. The next set of questions asks about your thoughts and feelings during conversation with Ryan. There are no right or wrong answers. They just want their honest opinion about how they felt. This first question is relating to how the extent to which you would agree or disagree with the statements, whether or not their gender was salient during the conversation, whether the participant felt that the gender may have affected how Ryan acted towards them, how if their gender influenced the way Ryan spoke to them, and their gender salience for themselves, how important their gender felt to them. So say the participants felt all these ways. This is the mobile view. Great. Moving forward, it says, imagine you have just had a conversation with Ryan about your feedback from your supervisor. As you continue to process the supervisor's feedback in the upcoming days, how likely would you be to talk about your problems with male or female coworkers? This is kind of measuring how likely they are to reach out, depending on the interaction, the specified gender of the interaction. Go and continue. The next 4 questions, we're trying to measure the respect, state status, size of self, and responsiveness. They're randomized to kind of get an even flow there. So it says, please indicate the extent to which you would agree or disagree with the statements below. And this is measuring respect, the amount of respect they felt during the interaction. Moving forward, this is state status. This is an interesting question. The participants are asked to rank themselves on this ladder, and there's different select boxes, and they can select different positions on the ladder that they feel that they are at. So if you had a conversation with Ryan, where do you imagine you would place yourself on this ladder? Please select the rung to which you feel you would stand relative to your friends. And please indicate the extent to which you would agree or disagree with the statements. This is measuring the amount of responsiveness that the independent variable Ryan gave the participants. Moving forward, this is measuring the size of self. So we're trying to measure how big or small the participant felt in comparison to Ryan. Once again, trying to measure the effect of the unresponsive advice on the participant, if that decreased their size of self, and if it did decrease, if that was because of the unresponsiveness or if that was because of the gender of the response giver or the advice giver. Moving on, these next 4 questions are asking about belonging, the likelihood that the likelihood that they would the frequency that men or women would interact with them in this way. Yeah, and discussions about your problems with colleagues. How frequently do men speak to you in a way that's similar to how Ryan spoke to you? So say it was frequently. And then the changing condition is woman here. How often or frequently do women speak to you in this way? Either responsive or unresponsive. And then this is a manipulation check that we're just making sure that the participant does understand that Ryan identified as a male. That's critical for our assessment. Ryan gave unsolicited advice, once again just making sure that they understood that this was unsolicited advice. Ryan gave obvious advice, once again, and then prescriptive. So unsolicited, obvious, and prescriptive are the three characteristics that we operationally defined unresponsive advice. And these are just our demographic questions about gender and their education, their age, how important their gender is, a reflection of who they are, their country, what their age is, their education, their race or ethnicity, their political stances, and their employment status. So after answering these demographic questions, they complete the survey. So that's all. Thank you.